You watch videos about narcissists, manipulators, psychopaths, then quietly wonder, what does it say about me that I like this stuff? You're falling asleep to breakdowns of toxic tactics, binging dark psychology shorts between meetings, maybe even diagnosing your ex with 3 cluster B traits before lunch. You keep asking, am I protecting myself, or am I secretly like the people I'm studying? The truth is more interesting than you're fine or you're secretly a villain. The psychology of people who love dark psychology is about fear, control, curiosity, and the shadow side of being a hyper-aware, high-functioning human in a chaotic world. What dark psychology actually represents. Dark psychology is the study of how people use manipulation, coercion, and antisocial traits like narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism to control others. When you're drawn to this, you're usually not attracted to the cruelty itself. You're attracted to frameworks that explain harmful behavior, language that names what you felt but couldn't articulate, maps of power and manipulation in relationships, workplaces, and society. For many viewers, dark psychology is less how to and more what to watch out for. Reason 1. Survival learning and threat mapping. Your brain is wired to prioritize threat detection over comfort. Dark psychology content feels like training. People who gravitate to it often have been hurt, blindsided, or manipulated before. Replay those experiences mentally, thinking, how did I miss the signs? Use dark psychology as a way to build an internal red flag database. It's the same reason people binge true crime, not just morbid curiosity, but a primal need to understand danger so it feels less random. Watching breakdowns of gaslighting, love bombing, grooming, or cult tactics becomes a form of cognitive armor. If I can understand the pattern, maybe it won't happen to me again. Reason 2. High-functioning anxiety and the illusion of control. If you live with high-functioning anxiety, your mind is constantly scanning for what could go wrong. Dark psychology offers a seductive promise: control through knowledge. You can't stop people from being toxic, but you can learn their playbook. You can't predict every betrayal, but you can learn the patterns of betrayal. You can't silence your anxiety, but you can feed it information that feels protective. This creates a loop. Anxiety whispers, you're not safe. You binge dark psychology to feel more prepared. You feel briefly safer because you understand bad people, but the content also keeps your nervous system on high alert. It's harm reduction mixed with hypervigilance. Reason 3. Shadow curiosity without being a monster. Most people like dark psychology for the same reason they like villains in fiction. It's safe shadow exploration. We all have impulses we don't like to admit. Wanting to win at any cost. Fantasizing about revenge. Enjoying the idea of being untouchable, immune to guilt. Dark psychology lets you examine those impulses at arm's length. You're not acting them out. You're watching, analyzing, and staying morally anchored while you peek over the edge. This is psychological shadow work in disguise. You recognize tiny pieces of yourself in the people you fear. You feel disturbed and fascinated at the same time. You're testing. Where is my line? How far would I go? What would stop me? Far from making you dangerous, this awareness often makes you safer, because unconscious shadows are more likely to leak out in behavior than shadows you've inspected. Reason 4. Intellectual puzzle, not just emotional voyeurism. There's also a cognitive thrill. Dark psychology offers complex moral puzzles. Is this malice or trauma? Pattern recognition challenges. Where did the manipulation start? Systems thinking. How do organizations enable dark personalities? If you're high in curiosity and enjoy analyzing people, dark psychology is like a never-ending chess game with human behavior. You're not just rubbernecking at wrecks, your brain is doing forensics. This is why a lot of highly analytical, high-achieving, academically inclined people end up in these rabbit holes. It's mental stimulation plus emotional relevance in one package. Reason 5. Emotional distance for people who feel too much. Some people who love dark psychology are deeply empathic but burned. If you have a history of codependency, people-pleasing, or overgiving, grew up managing other people's emotions, have been repeatedly drawn to broken or chaotic partners, dark psychology can feel like a protective upgrade. Instead of drowning in empathy, you temporarily step into an analytical, emotionally cooler frame. You're no longer, I just feel bad for them. You become, I understand their pattern, and I see the cost of staying. Dark psychology becomes a bridge from naive empathy to informed boundaries. Here's the twist most people don't admit. Some viewers aren't just studying abusers, they're also quietly asking, am I capable of this? Was I manipulative in that relationship? Do I actually care about people, or do I just care about control? That self-questioning can be uncomfortable but healthy. It means you're willing to examine your own power. You're not assuming your good intentions automatically clean up your impact. You're trying to understand where confidence ends and coercion begins. People truly high in dark traits rarely self-interrogate this much. The very fact that you're uneasy about what your interest means is usually evidence you're not what you fear. Interest in dark psychology is common and often adaptive, but there are points where it slides into something else. Red flags include, you enjoy seeing people suffer or get what they deserve. You start using tactics intentionally to win, control, or humiliate. You feel less and less empathy over time and more contempt. You see every interaction as a game to dominate, not a relationship to navigate. At that point, dark psychology stops being protective and starts being a toolkit for harm.